Okay, before we're done with our 6 classes, our job is to find the 2 people in the world that are hard of hearing and are in control of the buying and selling. So we're going to do that psychically. We're going to find these people, but that was a great example. I like that. Thank you very much. That was great. Okay. Look,
Well, we got their picture.
we can do it. We got them on. Look, since I was 18 years old till just now, I've been always wondering is how do we turn this energy that's all around us, and you can actually see it, with all this information from the time that time began, and all this information that's inside of us, how do we turn this into something that can help us and help the world at the same time? We started that question last year, okay? And I believe we came up with 2 measures to get there, get to the answers. One is that we put ourselves in the correct frame of mind so that we can get past our old stories. Because I'm going to tell you, one of the hardest parts, no matter how good we are psychically, everyone has a hot button. Everyone has something that they're dealing with that will tend, from what I've seen, to interfere with what you can do in terms of making your life independent. I don't care what it is. I have mine, you've got yours. So that's number one. The other thing is our environment. Like, how do we deal with our environment to make sure the environment works with us rather than against us? And then, how do we turn on our psychic abilities so we can make the prediction? So if we're looking at the 2 stocks, what do we do to get into that state where we're in touch with the divine, and we can get past our own limitations, and we can say with certainty that this is the answer in each and every case? Well, that's where we're going now, this part of it. To get there, we're going to work on our frame of mind first. We're going to go through what I call the 5 steps to achieve prosperity. Now, we started this last year, we covered these, but I want to go into more detail about this so that we're clear about this, so that when we start our classes, we go into these 5 steps automatically, and we're in the right frame of mind. And before you would do any work, like making predictions about the stocks that Jack gave you, I hope you would do this first, and then see what answers you would get. Okay? So let's start with the 5 steps. We're going to go back to this diagram. Does everyone have a copy of this diagram? Okay? Also, this sheet that describes the 5 steps. Okay? Now, I'm going to refer back to this. Okay? And you can mark up your sheets as necessary. All right? So, the first part of this, the first part of the 5 steps would be that we claim our space. We claim our space. So, if I'm in this room and I'm making my predictions for the patients I have or whatever I'm doing, I would not just claim my office. I would claim outside this building. I would claim as far as I'd want to until I could sense how far that would be. It could be 100 miles. It could be just next door. But I would sense how far I would need to claim to make sure that I'm not going to be interfered with my predictions. Now, if you're not sure about how far to claim, just go any distance that you want. Because we're not only going to claim that particular space, we're going to claim the rest of the world also. So I'm claiming, like right now, I would go out maybe a few yards beyond this building, as well as the entire world too. And I'll explain why it's important to do both. So I'm fixed on a location, and then I have the entire world also. That's claiming my space. Now ask questions if you're not clear. Is that clear? Yes. It's good. Good. Leverage your mind, Stanley. Please.
When you say claiming your space, are you going, you're saying 100 yards outside the building? Are you doing a circle, a global, or just?
Any way you want.
Okay.
Any way you want. You can use any type of geometric figure you want. Okay. It's going to be okay, but anything you want in that regard, as long as it covers your particular space as well as the world itself. Okay.
So if you're doing
so
the
everyone
whole,
can hear, please mind stand. Yes.
so if you're doing the whole world, why do you bother with the little space to
I'll
begin
explain
with?
that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
There you go.
Well, that was mine. It's like a double bubble, you know, a bubble around me and a bubble around whatever space that I choose.
Right.
And then a bubble around the world.
Okay,
So it's a bubble in a bubble.
Well, since there are 2 questions about the same thing, let me go back to this right now. What's important about this concept of claiming my space is I know without any doubt that within this space, this immediate space, nothing's going to interfere with me. It's a level of confidence. It's a level of confidence. I go around the world after that because I have a program that I want to achieve. I have an agenda that I want, and I want the world to help me. So after I get beyond my space, then I'm going out to the world also at the same time, so I'm not losing time. Am I making my point? I want to be very proactive where I am. I want to know where I am right now. It's clear, there's not going to be a problem, and then I want to send that information out around the world, and I don't want anything to interfere with that. I'm doing it all at the same time. Am I being clear? Yes? No?
No.
Okay, well, let me go a little further and I'll explain more about that. But that's the point of what I'm doing. Let me go to the next step. And then if you're not sure about something, bring me back. Okay? All right, so the second step is we clear our space. We clear our space. So I claim my space first, and now I clear it. Now, the clearing program that I use is this. Right here. So you may want to copy this down. I'm clearing my location. Okay, so I don't care where I am. I'm clearing my immediate location, and I'm also clearing around the world also. That's my location. Okay. I'm also claiming any people or animals in your location. Any people or animals in your location. Okay. When I'm working at home, I have to make sure that I clear my cats.
Your what?
My cats.
Oh,
I have to clear my cats. Okay? You'd be amazed what they carry. You'll be amazed.
I got you too.
But when
There you
you
go.
say you clear your animals,
And I'll explain that in a moment. Okay?
I think you just said it, but you're not saying clear them out of the room. You're just saying. So I got no chance of that. You know
Get rid of
that,
any residue. Because they may want a certain type of food, and now they're angry with me because they're not getting the right type of food, and I don't want that anger around me when I'm scanning.
right? That's been my problem.
There you go.
He's a
Okay.
cat.
It's amazing how powerful these animals are. And then third one is self-destructive beliefs or actions with yourself and others. I think that's pretty self-explanatory on that one. Okay, then the fourth is demons and dark forces. Okay,
Could you move over to the other side? Or yeah, thank
okay.
you.
All right. And I also have several people, I've got a person in Louisiana who wants to hear this. So demons and dark forces is number 4. And then 5 will be people, places, and things from both the past and the present that will interfere with your success. Now, you can add anything you want to that statement. I don't care what you add to that for you. This works well for me. Okay? So that's my clearing statement. And remember what I said, whenever we have a statement, whenever we have a statement, we always put some type of figure around it. Yes, some type of figure around it to isolate it. Okay? And because you don't have to remember this step by step by step, you don't need to now that you've seen it, I call this clearing statement C for clearing, not for cat. Okay? For clearing. Okay, call it whatever you want, I just want to make it simple.
So if we do this one time, and then every morning all we do is say C, we don't have to reboot it at any point?
Well, I'll get to that too.
Okay.
I'll get to that too. Okay? So, can I go on, or are you still writing?
Still
Okay? All right, I'll let you still write. Okay? Give you a few minutes here. Okay, let me know when you're ready. Do that later at the end of class, and you can finish it, okay? Because I want to make sure we cover this and have time to go over it. So this is my clearing statement, and like I said, you can modify it any way you want. Okay? So now I have my environment, whatever my environment is, and now I start using, I just say, I give myself permission, I allow myself to bring in my clearing statement, C. And what I do then is, I imagine in my mind that I see myself, my sphere, whatever it is, and I'm going all the way around the world too, and I see in my mind the hand of what I call God. The hand of God from the bottom of the earth all the way up to where I'm standing on the earth, and I see that massive hand just go up and through my entire geometric sphere, and it's removing all of those entities, those items that were in program C. Now, I do that a minimum of 10 to 20 times. in my mind. Now, I don't care how fast or slow you do this, but I see that hand go right on through my sphere, pulling all of that out. If you do it enough times, you automatically, very quickly go into a very deep state of relaxation. It is amazing how powerful this is. Amazing.
Just a question.
Yes, would you mind saying?
If the hand is clearing inside your
Right.
sphere?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yep, all the way inside the sphere, all the way, and then it just boots everything out. Okay? And then when I've cleared 10, 20 times, you may have to go more, it just depends. Then I see my geometric figure, it's nice and closed, and I can actually literally see it in front of my eyes. I can actually literally see it. And it follows me around, wherever I go. Now, immediately I'm in a state where I'm much more relaxed. What's fascinating about this is that it can be altered by the environment that you're in. If you're around people, places, or things that are supercharged in the wrong direction, they can break that field. You can automatically go out of that calmness, and it's amazing, you'll sense that. And if that occurs, what you do is you start clearing again. That hand of God, I've kept that hand of God really busy, my friends. And that hand is moving really fast to get me back into the right state of mind. So either I do it once or twice. If I'm in an environment where I have to do it a couple of times, I get out of that environment fast. I don't care if it's about people, places, or things. I'm not around people like that, or places or things. Okay? If it takes 2 or 3 times to clear, you've got some problems going on in that area. All right? So let's say now you've cleared your environment. All right, now step 3. Step 3 is basically what we've done last year, what we referred to last year. Bless you. Okay. We're in our geometric figure. Okay, we've cleared it. So here am I physically. So I'm allowing the energy of God, angels, and any other spiritual beings into the sphere, just like we did last year. It's going straight on through into the earth. Okay, back through the earth. Now, this item, that circle, and my image of myself is not there in step 3. So this energy is coming right on back into heaven and back through me. So it's just this type of figure without these 2 items there. Okay? Do you understand? Yes, Roger?
I think something that's more important, or as important here, is not only give permission, but you, I think it's important, at least when I do something like this, I not only give permission, but I ask for it to be done.
Well, Roger, I understand what you're saying right now, but I believe that God's already done it for us. We're just giving it permission because of our free will and allow it to occur.
Okay.
Because it's already been done. The problem is we have these programs that are telling us it hasn't, or we won't allow ourselves. So I want to make sure that I take charge of these programs and say, I know that God's already done it. I'm just giving permission to let it work, rather than asking. Okay? It works better for me.
Point well taken.
Okay? Anything else?
That element that you
Please, would you mind standing when you ask your question so everyone can hear, please? That's right.
that element that you just referred to, is that doubt and fear? Fear?
Fear and anger. Fear and anger. Okay, I have fear, other people have anger. Okay, doesn't matter what we have, it's all the same thing when it comes to stopping us. All the same thing. Okay? So we're going to take charge of that, right? Good. Okay, so we're letting that energy in. And we're letting this energy in, that spiritual energy in, and that energy is powered by our gratitude, like thank you, thank you, thank you, and our joy. Okay, so give me an idea of what you would be grateful about. Yeah, Sharon, what would you be grateful about?
I don't know. Being able to choose things in my life.
Okay, okay. Josh, what would you be grateful about?
Family.
Okay, okay. Jack, what are you grateful about?
And
Good. Good choices. This is presidential material. Okay. All right, we all have things we can be grateful about, obviously. But it's very important that we really take this seriously, because the gratitude is very important. But I found what's even more important than gratitude is joy. Why are you joyful? Why? Give me a reason why you're joyful.
Being grateful for as much as I can, for everything around me, takes away the fear, know why, but it does, and then the joy and the peace just kind of comes out.
Okay. I think you're saying a variation on what helps me. What helps me, because if I'm dealing with situations beyond my control, a person, place, or thing beyond my control, like I said, I have no control. And there's an old statement that I once heard that everything we want or need is controlled or owned by someone else. Let me say that again. Everything we want or need is controlled or owned by someone else. Now, I'd like to think that the world's on my side, and because if they helped me, I would help them, and we could work together. But sometimes it's not quite that simple. So what helps me understand this, and what helps reduce my tension is, I can turn it over to God. I don't have to stress about it. I don't have to stress. I don't care what the situation is. If I can't do it, and even if I can do it, it would be really nice if I had more help and I could save my energy for other things. That's my joy. Maybe you got yours, that's mine. But it really helps me to understand that there is a force in the universe that wants to help us and does help us if we turn it over. It helps me. Okay, so that's my joy. So as I'm sending my gratitude and my joy through, this energy through, okay, I'm developing that system through my body where I can actually let my body feed off of that energy. And if there's any part of my body, I don't care where it is physically, that's resisting this gratitude and joy, I just give it permission to be washed away in this process and then have my entire body unified with gratitude and joy. It's real simple. Now, how long does that take? 5 to 15 minutes from what I'm seeing. About 5 to 15 minutes of doing this in the morning or anytime. About 5 to 15 minutes. Okay, so that's step 3. Step 4 now is after you've done step 3 for the appropriate amount of time. Step 4 is now we bring the image of ourself, our energetic self, now within that circle, the sphere, and we start seeing our energetic self. Okay, it's just a mirror image of who I am, basically. So I'm looking at my mirror image. I'm still in step 3. Now I bring up my mirror image in step 4, and I'm looking at the 3 areas of my brain, heart, and spirit. I'm looking to make sure that all 3 of those areas are super bright and evenly illuminated, very brightly illuminated. Why? Why is that important?
It shows that I've cleared everything. It's a reflection of what's in me. If I've cleared it all and the energies are all connecting correctly, it should show in the reflected spirit.
Very good. You've learned well. Very good.
Only took me a year. It's cool.
Very good. Okay, any other ideas? Why? Any other ideas? Why are those 3 areas so important?
Connect them,
Please.
connect them together, all
Good. Good.
cohesively.
Yes. Yes. And what happens when you connect them together?
And you're
You're on a roll. Come on,
you're
sing.
finely tuned.
You're finely tuned. Right.
So that you can be active.
That's right. That's right. Because if I'm going to use my spirits to guide me, because the spirit has all the answers, and I'm now resisting it in my brain, heart, or in both places, what type of answers am I going to get?
Long ones, salty.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you do get the right answers, it won't be for the right reasons, and then you won't be happy with the results. So you better start, thinking about these things, about getting these 3 areas organized, because if we can do that, it really helps the entire process. Yes.
I have the entity I see out there. I don't really see me, but I do see something. Is that will that work, or do I need to struggle more to?
No struggle. No, you're doing great.
Okay.
You're doing great. No struggle. If you have to struggle, go back. Go back. Keep it simple. Keep it very simple. Okay. The harder we make this, I'm telling you, the harder you make it, the more incorrect you're going to be. The more you doubt yourself, and the more complicated you make it, the more incorrect you're going to be. I guarantee it.
Get out of your own way.
I've had times where in just less than 5 minutes I got the right answer, then I thought, can't be that simple, so I'd go back and change it, make it more complicated. Second time, made it even more complicated. Third time, even more complicated, getting further and further from the truth. Probably the first answer you give is the correct answer. Okay? So, but that's step 4. Okay, is that clear? About step 4. So we're going to do step 3, and then send this energy back on in through this image of ourselves until the brain, heart, and spirit areas are very bright. Now, how long does that take? Guess what? 5 to 15 minutes. Okay? Get good at this, it's pretty fast. Okay? Doesn't take very long. Okay? So step 4 is to get all 3 of those areas aligned, very bright. Then we go to step 5. I like step 5. Step 5 is, in my opinion, the most important. Because in step 5, we're putting onto this energetic circle, well, we put ourselves there, of course, and we also make sure that people, places, or things that we want to help, we need help from, people that we need to apologize to, they need to apologize to us, I don't care, but anything that could make your life go a whole lot easier, put that onto that circle. Okay. Am I making sense? Why not?
And the little circle, we're supposed to stick them on there with our energetic self.
Well, this is a pretty big area that we're talking
But,
about.
but I mean, we're supposed to keep them in that area around the energetic self, not just in the circle.
In our mind, we can do anything. We don't have to worry about this.
Okay.
No construction costs, nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about in terms of zoning or anything like this. I'll tell you, we got no lick if we follow this. Yes.
Okay, so we invite,
Basically.
we can invite others to join us in circle, but they may not want it.
You can call it inviting, I just put them there. And they may not accept it, I don't care. I don't care, I just put them there. Because I'm only sending them
Well,
what's
the
right and
reason
just
I'm
for them.
asking is because obviously there is a respect kind of thing
Right.
at every level that
Right.
we can't, you know, before you work with someone, you ask that permission.
Mhm.
And the same thing spiritually, if
Right.
there is another person that doesn't want to, then you honor that, but how do you know?
Well, that's my point. See, my point is that I put the people down, places or things down on that area, and I'm only sending gratitude and joy to them. That's all I'm sending. I'm praying for them, in effect. I'm praying. I want the best for them. I want the best for them. And what I'm hoping is that in sending the best to them, that they'll forgive me for anything I've done wrong, or I'll forgive them for anything they've done wrong to me. Or that they'll get the message without me having to use my mouth, or physically, that I could use help. Because only the people that are vibrating like you are going to get the signal, get the information, and respond. Only those. And the others that don't, you have nothing to worry about. It's like homeopathics. Homeopathics. We're not forcing them to do anything, we're just praying for them. Just praying for them. Am I making sense?
So even if these people come into your circle, if they don't have the same vibration, then it doesn't happen?
Probably nothing's going to happen.
Is it possible that sometimes if you, like, if she says you invite them or you ask them permission, they would say no?
Oh, it's very possible.
Because I have someone
Sure.
saying, I don't know, I don't think I'm imagining, they just
Right.
say no.
Right.
Just went like this.
Right. And that's very possible.
Okay,
That
well,
could
then don't
happen.
come.
That's very possible that could happen. But let me give you an example of what could also happen, because this is very important.
No.
I had a patient of mine who hadn't seen a friend of hers who's a good business, was a good business partner for years, but she hadn't seen him for at least 10 years. And this Christmas, she was thinking about him. No particular reason, just thought about him. So she writes out a Christmas card, sends it to him, and she thought about him for a little bit, used this technique, thought about him for a few minutes, and sure enough, within less than about a week and a half, I think it was, a week and a half, less than 2 weeks, she gets a call from this man. And he's going like, I've been thinking about you, hey, let's catch up sometime, he's in Florida, she's here, well, let's catch up, I want to do some things, let's get together, blah, 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 okay. Caught up with a lot of things, she thought the card got there, and 3 days ago, she gets the card back. Yeah, this is a true story, my hairs are standing up, she gets the card back, okay, it was never delivered. Okay. Now, I've had people say, well, why can't it just work that fast, where we just send that super concentrated energy out, and we just go about our business and do other things, and we don't have to worry about it? Well, here's the reason why I'm proposing that we start working this way. I want to fill my mind up with what's right. What's correct is to be in this energetic state, expecting gratitude and joy, not just for myself, but for everyone. That's the state I want to be in. I don't want to listen to junky music. I don't want to listen to people that don't know what they're saying. I don't want to be involved in the environment the way it is with these politicians and this type of thing. I want to be in an environment that can help myself and other people in this world, so I choose to stay in this 5-step process through the day, and I especially choose in my mind that through the entire day, I am projecting my energy and gratitude into that circle, so that's all I'm doing through the entire day. That's why I do it through the entire day. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to be at the mercy of everyone and everything else. Even though I sent it out with a lot of intensity, now what am I going to do? Go back into the world, have all the incorrect ideas, and expect my life to really matter, mean something? Am I getting my point across?
I just want to make sure I understand. You're bringing the situations that you want to approach that day.
Yeah.
And you're putting them in the circle.
Right.
And then after you've done all this preparation, you're sending your energy right into that secondary circle. That's where you're
Okay,
really.
let me give you an example. Okay, before I get started every day, I have all my patients in that circle. Anyone I need to help, I send my gratitude and joy to them. I just am so thankful that they trust me. Anything I can do to help them, I see them smiling. I see them being well. I see them really achieving things with their life. Now, I don't care whether it's your pets. I don't care if you want to put your money there, because how could your money grow if you don't love it? If you don't have joy and you don't have gratitude with your money, how could it grow? Okay? Could be a vacation you'd like to take. How could you have a great vacation if you don't enjoy it, you don't have love for it, and appreciation, and respect for it? How can it grow? How could you get there? Okay, I'm talking about changing your ideas from whatever this world's trying to give you, the fear and the anger this world's giving you, to something that we know connects you to the truth. That's the options that we have. That's the options. Now, the question I have is, and 2 months ago, I really started thinking about this, and I really took this seriously 2 months ago, and every day, here's what I do every day. Before I go to bed every day, I take 5 to 15 minutes before I go to bed, and I go through all 5 steps. Now, if I should fall asleep, which is practically every night before I finish this, because it puts you in such a deep state of relaxation, I tell my conscious and subconscious mind to take over. So if I'm asleep, you finish all 5 steps, because now I presented it to you. It knows what to do. It'll take me through all 5 steps while I'm asleep. It's so nice. I don't have any bad dreams. I wake up with great ideas. My cat's getting close to me now that I'm doing this now. It's amazing. And it's going to just lie there all over my body now. Okay? It's amazing how it puts everything into a much deeper state of gratitude and joy. Because that's what you're sending out. I wake up in the morning. Okay, consciously, I go into the 5 steps. I consciously go through the 5 steps. I go through every one of those steps in my mind. Okay, now, when I finish through the day, and I look at all the things I have to do, and they've all been put on there, okay, I know I'm in the right state of mind, because what I do a test. I look at the worst possible situation I could possibly face, whether it's that day or for my life, I don't care. And I look at it objectively. And if I can look at that situation with joy and gratitude, I've done those steps long enough. And I mean this. I mean this literally. I mean, it's amazing how it takes away that type of tension. Okay, now, if I still feel something connected to it, like some fear connected to it, because I deal with fear, then I know I need to go back to these 5 steps for a few more minutes, maybe another 5, 10 minutes, and test it again. But I can tell you, it works. It works. Okay? So when I can get out of my bed, I can look at my worst problem, and I can look at it with gratitude and joy, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go through the day. And then all through the day, I'm projecting that joy and gratitude onto that circle, and whatever is there, and that's all I focus on. Even if I'm talking to you, which I'm doing right now, focusing all that joy and gratitude to everyone in the room on that circle.
And as long as we're feeling joy and gratitude through the day, it's working. If we feel that break, then we should pull back and go through the 5 steps again.
You can, but a faster way might be, which is a good point, faster way might be you clear first. You always clear. Always clear. Then you might try going back to this step, the 5th step, and it might just take you automatically back. It saves a lot of time. Okay? Am I being clear?
So how do you create this, I'm not clear on the energetic circle, how are you creating that once you create it? I guess once you clear the space, how do you create the energetic circle?
Okay. Well, I just see it. I mean, it's all in our mind anyway, so I'm just seeing it. I don't care how big it is or small it is, that circle. And then what I do is, as I'm projecting my joy and gratitude to that, I imagine in my mind I'm like a garden hose, and I'm just projecting, and I use gold dust, because I like this. I like gold dust. I project gold dust onto everything in that circle so that they can feel how valuable they are. Yeah. I haven't found too many people that like silver more. They enjoy like gold. Okay. But value, my friend, value, okay? Value, okay? So am I making my point? I mean, I'm just seeing all this in my mind. What you can do in your mind that actually comes true, like this person who thought she sent the card, but had such an intense desire to connect with that person, use those steps and set out a powerful signal in her mind. This works all the time like this. Yeah, it's a great story. Absolutely great story. She was shocked. Absolutely shocked. Yeah. Any other questions?
Something, I read a lot besides what we do here.
Sure.
And one of the things that I read that once I started coupling that with what you're doing that really helped, once you ask something, quit asking.
That's where the joy and gratitude comes from.
And you
That's
just,
right.
you assume it's
That's
gonna
right.
happen, I'm
Right.
fine.
That's right.
That's right.
And,
That's right.
And what I was doing, and it's like that lady, she just was like, oh, it'd be nice to get in touch, here's a card, and then it went out of her mind.
Right.
And once I got to the point where I could quit thinking about, I need this, I need this, I need this, then the joy piece came.
Right.
And
Right. That's basically it. I mean, yes. Chair, would you mind saying it? I'm going to give you guys a good workout here. We're going to wait till the show. Somebody's asking a lot of questions. We're going to do squats here. So.
Clearing your space with the hand of God, I got that part. But then when you're doing the step where you've got the brain, the heart, and the spirit, and you're waiting till they get really bright and you see it.
Right.
If you really don't see it and you don't sense it, just pretend you do.
Give yourself, no, that's a very good point. Very good question. If you don't sense it in some way, shape, or form, if you'll work for at least 10 minutes, no more than 15, I guarantee you, they'll be of the correct intensity and luminosity. You can move on, whether you can sense it or not. 10 or 15 minutes. If you can't sense those areas, go to the 10 or 15 minutes and it will work. It will work very well.
Just move on to the next step.
Move on to the next step. Just move on. Remember, this is not so much about a test, whether you can visualize this. This is really an allowing yourself to be relaxed, to be confident, to believe that these things are working, which is called faith. But it's not just blind faith. This is a functional faith based upon a system that works. Am I being clear?
Can I just speak louder?
Well, you could, but it'd be nice.
Being a brain person, I understand gratitude.
Right.
I don't feel joy. How do you create?
I don't know. I don't know how you're going to do it for yourself. This is what brings me joy. I'm selfish. I'm gonna think about what brings me joy first, okay? Because I have to help myself first, okay? What might bring you joy also, AJ, would be for you to realize that maybe you could get better results much faster and easier than all the hard work you've done because you worked hard. Maybe there could be other ways, whatever they could be. Call it God, call it whatever you want, including other people coming in. That maybe, just maybe, they could make your life go a whole lot easier because I know that could bring you a lot of joy. Right?
You can't really fake joy. That's tough to.
Well, that's a very good point. But the more I did this, the easier it was for me to accept joy. Because in the beginning, it wasn't easy for me to accept joy. I see a lot of suffering, okay, both physically and energetically. Okay? It's not easy sometimes to see that joy. But the only thing I can understand right now is that everyone has the ability to learn this. Everyone has the ability to free themselves. And what brings me joy is to know that this works, and we can get it to the right people, and maybe we'll help free them. That's also what brings me joy. Now, I would suggest, if you can't sense the joy, at least be in gratitude and do these steps religiously for at least a month, and tell me what happens then. Because your idea of joy is, yes, someone may come in and help me. Yes, maybe God will, but yes, maybe all that could get turned off, or maybe there's some type of trick involved here, and I may not get it correctly, or some next day it'll be turned off and it won't happen again. I know that's part of why you're resisting that joy. You can't trust it yet. Experiment with it. It's not going to turn off. If it does turn off, it's not because that energy from God has turned off. It's not because of that. It's because we've turned off.
Would it also be applicable to say, okay, use your emotions as your guidance system or like your radar system, so if you're in a state where you're not feeling it,
Right.
do something or find something that makes you feel a little better. Because as long as you're shifting towards, even if it's incrementally,
Right.
towards something that makes you happy, whether it's music or art or
Whatever.
playing a sport or whatever,
Right.
just whatever makes you feel good,
Right.
at that moment you're in joy.
There you go. Yeah, like taking a walk with your dog.
Whatever makes you feel good.
Dancing, being on a beach, sun, beach, you know, whatever puts
Being
you
on the
into
beach,
that
yeah,
joy
there you go.
mode,
Right.
yes.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Yeah. I have my version, you've got yours, you just have to experiment. All right, please.
I just want to kind of relay, for me, back to what you were saying, AJ, I didn't know what I was looking for. The more I did it, I finally, something showed up that wasn't there before.
Like it broke through.
It broke through.
Yeah.
So I just, when I first did it, there was nothing there.
Right.
But I continued to do it and continued to do it, and all of a sudden, wow,
Right.
there's a change.
Right.
And then you recognize, oh, that's because of this.
Right.
So it's not that I'm looking for something, I'm letting it come to me. I let it come to me. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
And it's already there.
Yeah, it's there.
It's already there.
Right?
It's already there. We're just allowing it to occur.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
Yep.
I mean, every one of us is in this room, I believe, and followed this since last September because I believe you all want your independence. Every one of you. I believe every one of you wants a better, simpler life, not just for you, but for the world. And I believe you do want to help the world, too. The question that's always been since the beginning of man is, how do we do this? Well, maybe we've got an answer here. Certainly for me, this has helped me tremendously in the last couple of months. It's helped you, Larry. It's helped a lot of other people who have been doing this, like the lady who sent out her desires. I mean, it's incredible what this can do. But the question is, what will we allow it to do? How serious will you be doing this? Nothing is more important to me than my independence, and then your independence. Because I've got to prove it to myself that this works, and then I can prove it with you. But that's what matters to me most. I don't want to be a victim in this world anymore. Do you understand what I mean? I don't like what's going on in the Middle East. I don't like what's going on in our own home, in this country. I don't like what's going on around us. I don't like a lot of things, and I can't change any of these things myself. I can't. But with this technique, we have a chance. We really have a chance of making this a better world. And even if we don't go into the stock market, even if you don't do something with real estate or whatever else that you may be thinking about, even if you don't, you can manifest a lot of things too. That's why I'm presenting the manifestation first, because you got to get through this first, or some version of it, to get past your limitations so then you could go in and make good predictions. It's the hardest thing. The hardest thing. So what I'm going to ask you to do for the next maybe 10 minutes, let's go through this so you experiment with it and you tell me what you're sensing. So let's go through this step by step. Okay? And I'll ask you that when you get to step 5, that because we talked about this last year, let's try to do something not just for ourselves, but for this world also. Whatever you think is important to help the world. Okay? As the world desperately needs help. But we as a group, if we can function together this way and really put our energies together as a group, it would be amazing to see what could happen if we really focused on something. Yes, please.
Don't forget too that when you are in that love and gratitude, you're connecting. It's not just your little circle and your little group that you've invited in. You're also connecting with all the others that God has created, who are, when you are in love and gratitude, you're sending that out and picking out, but they're picking up on you, and it's not just this little group. That's how you see great things being changed by just group. It's not just this little group.
Right.
In so doing, you're connecting with a number of people who are doing the same thing.
Yep. And also, when you think about that too, it's a very good point. I mean, just imagine that you start feeling the changes that are occurring, and people walk up to you and say, what's going on with you? I mean, you seem to be more relaxed, more confident, less stressed, getting better answers. What's happening? And that will happen. Well, this is all part of the law of attraction. Love attracts love. Fear attracts fear. Okay, we have a way of doing it. Okay. Shall we do it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do it. So let's go, what is step one?
Claim your space.
Claim your space, okay? So you decide where that space is, also include the rest of the world with it. But be specific as to what space you claim. Because you're going to be sending your programs, not just in your immediate space, your environment, but also around the world at the same time. Okay, so claim your space. Okay, practice your breathing right now. Remember, breathe in through the lungs. Deeply, let it out through the nose. Feel it all the way down to that spirit area as you're breathing in. Let it out from the spirit area all the way up to the nose. Okay? Okay, so let's go to just claim your space. Okay, I'm going to go to step 2 now. If anyone is not there, step 2, let me know. But here's step 2. What is step 2 now? Clear your space. Very good. So use your clearing program, C, to clear through your environment and also around the world at the same time. Remember, clear minimum of 10 times. You may have to go to 20, maybe even more. But you will know how much you need to do. You'll be much more relaxed when you're finished. As you're clearing, can you feel the energy of the room getting much more relaxed? Yeah, it's much more dense now, much healthier, much easier to be in. Okay, and then move on to step 3. Okay, step 3 is what?
Bring God and angels in.
Good.
Gratitude, joy.
Yeah. And, for those of you who want other entities, other spiritual entities want to help, bring them in too. So we're going to let that energy go through the skull, right through the body, straight through the earth. Okay, back through the earth, because we want the earth to get our programs. We want everyone on the earth to benefit from this. Then it's going to go into heaven, where heaven activates it even further. Okay, so we never run out of energy, and then we let it come back into us again. And we are allowing energy to come through in terms of gratitude and joy. Okay. Gratitude is the thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. The joy is whatever helps you have some happiness. Good. Very good. Very good. on to step 4. Okay, everyone ready for step 4? Okay, step 4 is you see your energetic self, your mirror image. Okay. You're sensing your brain, heart, and spirit area. If you can't do that, then it would just take more time. Normally it would take roughly 5 minutes, as much as 15 minutes to get all 3 areas to the type of luminosity and intensity that you want. So let's bring it in. Now let's pass that energy now through the earth. Let's bring it back into your sphere, put it into your image of yourself. Let it go through, back into heaven, and then back through you. You're doing great. All of you are doing really well. It's amazing how the energy is balancing out both sides of the room. More time to do that. You're doing well. Now, if you allow the energy to pass through you even faster and through this cyclical manner that we've just described, you'll bring up the energy of the brain, heart, and spirit even more quickly. Good. Okay, I'm going to move on to step 5. Everyone ready? Step 5 is what?
Bring everyone into your circle.
A person, place, or thing that in some way, shape, or form you can help. It could help you. Okay. We're always sending our gratitude and our joy onto whomever, whatever's there. I use gold dust so that people understand that I value them. I want them to feel value. Use whatever you want. It's up to you. If anyone's harmed you, you can put them in the circle. If you harmed anyone, well, send your apologies into that circle. They may not accept it immediately. Could take years, perhaps. But there is no other way to do it that I found works better than this. Faster, more effectively, easier. It's the moment you begin opening your mouth, you're out of the relationship between you and God, and now you're into problems with other people. Do this first. Do the right things first, then talk to them, then somehow communicate with them. Good. Keep it going. Keep it going. Now keep the energy going as I'm talking to you. I'm purposely doing this to give you practice so that nothing breaks your intensity. Next week, I want everyone in the room to bring back a 2015 statement for your goals. By this time next year, I want you to know what you want in terms of prosperity. Prosperity is about health, wealth, and relationships. So bring a specific statement that you want next week, and I'll show you how to utilize it in this, so we can really start putting the power to what you want in terms of manifesting. Make this year go easily and more effectively for you. Okay, keep setting the